Okay, let's start our speaking practice today. So, so Mr. Min, you are about to take your exam very soon, am I right?
Yes.
And are you excited about it?
No.
Are you well prepared for it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, let's try 17 now. Color, I mean mornings. So do you often get up early in the mornings?
No. Well, I rarely get up early in the morning because I'm a night owl, so I stay up late every night, and so the next morning nearly I cannot wake up early.
I see. So what do you usually do when you wake up early, when you get up early?
Well, normally I would go out to go jogging and watch the sunrise, and that
Wait,
was
wait,
really
watch the sunrise or the samurai? I
sunrise.
was like, what? Watch the samurai? What?
Well, you watch the sunrise, and it is often really refreshing to go out in the morning and do some morning exercise.
Mm-hmm. I see. So, do you get up early on weekends, or do you have to do that?
No, I never do that because that weekend is the time for us to relax and refresh ourselves. So I always stay up late in every weekend, and the next morning I would wake up so late, and for that reason, I rarely or never get up early in the week on the weekend, and if I do that, it must be the fact that I had to do that because someone forced me to do.
Okay, I see. Which morning do you like best in a week then?
Hmm. Well, that's definitely Sunday, because Sunday is the day is my day off. So I wake up in the Sunday morning. It's really free. It's helped me to feel freedom and help me to feel free. And I do not have to worry about the time or when I get up. So that's really easy for me to uh, refresh and recharge my battery.
Mm-hmm. So do you work efficiently in the morning then?
Yes, undoubtedly, because
But you said you're a night owl, right?
yeah.
I think it's quite unusual for a night owl to work efficiently in the morning because I am also a night owl, you know. So I do find it very strange you said that.
Well, I think when it comes to learning at school, um, learning in the morning is best for me. And when it comes to review everything I have learned at school, that would definitely be in the evening, so that it is quiet, so it's more efficient to review and to learn. But if I have to learn new things to learn to widen my knowledge, that would definitely be in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, let's do color then. So what's your favorite color? And what's your color you dislike and why?
Well, I love the color red most because I am a Leo person, so I
Okay,
love
your
the
fire
color.
element.
Yeah, I'm fire element, so I love the color red and yellow also. So,
Hmm.
and besides, I am a fan of Manchester United, so the color of Manchester United is red. So that's the simple reason why I love red. And when it comes to the color I dislike, that would definitely be blue, because you know blue and red is opposed to each other.
Yeah.
Like fire and water, so that doesn't match with me.
I am
And
water because I'm a cancer.
Yeah, well, on top of that, I also hate blue because in the
Because it makes
in the
me
co
feel bad, right?
yeah, and in the culture of Vietnam, there are many accidents and myths about water monster, and so that I
Water
hate them.
monster, I see. Ma nước.
Yeah, like thuần luồng đó.
Yeah, there's a lot of myths about water monsters, and then the ghosts or the monster that will pull your leg from the water.
Yeah.
Quái vật rút chân từ dưới nước lên. Oh wow. Why you mentioned that? It's just strange, but yeah, I get
Well,
what you say.
I just brainstorm and say anything that come out in my head.
Do you prefer dark or bright color?
To be honest, I love the color dark more because the color dark is represent like black or gray, and I think I love those colors because wearing dark colors and for example dark like a black suit, it makes me feel more professional and also cooler. And for that reason, I think I love the dark color more.
Okay, so is there any color that have any special meaning in your country?
Yes, undoubtedly. For example, the color pink, it represents love, and maybe it represent the women because every girl like them. And also when it comes to the color red, it represent fire, and the color blue is represent water. So I think the colors they all have some meaning in them.
They all have some meaning in them, I say. Okay, so do you think colors reflect people's personalities then? Like,
Yeah.
it depends, but I do like green, I do like blue, and I do also like, what's it called? I do like orange at times too. What do you think? What does it reflect my personalities or something?
Yes, definitely. Because I remember there are many tests, psychological tests, that it gave a question and ask and it asked the candidate to pick one color that they love most, and they come up, and the outcome is some of the aspect of their personality. So I think psychologically, what color represent something in each person's personality. So yeah, I do think so. For example, those people who love the color pink, it means that they are in love, or the color red, it might be that this person they are they are easy to get irritated, and also amongst them.
Okay. So what do you think? Do you know what color your friends like most? Or you just care about yourself? Does it?
Well, I don't care about other people's colors so much, because many people they have different opinion, different hobbies. So, and there are many people, even me, they have they love many colors. So caring about those colors other people like, that's a waste of time. So I don't know about other people's favorite color.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's it. That's enough about that color. Let's try something else now. Let's talk about country then. Which part of your country do you want to live in, and why?
Well, I think I would love to live in Ho Chi Minh City because you know there are two biggest cities in Vietnam, that is Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. But living in Hanoi, especially in the summer, is summer and winter. That's really challenging because Vietnam is a tropical country, so it's really hot in summer and really cold in the winter. But when it comes to Ho Chi Minh City, it just have two main reasons, that is dry and the wet season. So it's a kind of more easily to live there, easy to live there, and also I think it provide more of job opportunity than Hanoi. So I think I would love to live in Ho Chi Minh City in the future.
Mm-hmm. I see. Which part? Okay, so what makes you feel proud of your country then?
Well, you know, in my country, you can see that people like to go wild around and show their national park, national flag. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
the national flag, and so I think what makes me proud of my country, that would definitely be the and
Enthusiasm.
enthusiasm and the passion we have for the country. And for example, um, we love our culture and we love to share our tradition and culture with tourists from all around the world. And that's a good point because many people, they love to show their culture in order to publish our image and put the image of our country on the map. And for that reason, I think we love our culture and we're proud of it.
Mm-hmm. I see. Will you stay in Vietnam in the future? Or will you try to get the hell out? I'm just joking.
Yeah,
Because
well,
everyone tried to get out of this country somehow, but no, I stay.
yeah, well, def that would definitely, because many people, they love to study abroad, and nearly this morning, my uncle texted me for some to take some chances to get some scholarship in Finland, and
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't appeal to me so much. And I think in the future I would choose to stay in Vietnam because I love to be with my relatives and be with my fellow people. And so on top of that, I think Vietnam are going to be a big country in the future. So I think we are on the run to become one of the most developed country in the world, and it's our time. So I think seek job opportunities in Vietnam right now is easy, and it's also appeal to me to become a great entrepreneur in Vietnam in the future.
Entrepreneur. Nó là những âm cuối nha.
Entrepreneur,
Entrepreneur.
entrepreneur, yeah,
Entrepreneur.
to become an entrepreneur in the future. So I think I would definitely stay in Vietnam in the future.
I think Vietnam, there's a lot of opportunities in Vietnam, to be honest with you.
Yes.
And more opportunities are presenting each day. Okay, in the whole world, the economy is bad right now, but Vietnam is still a very alluring destination, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But only if the government is try to change their policy somehow, because right now it doesn't attract that many investors because of the policies, but they might need to change that. Anyway, Vietnam has a lot of workers, a large workforce willing to work for cheap. Okay, that it's very bad of me to say.
Yes.
But that is the truth. And you can run a business with a bit easier than in other Western countries, because Western country, the tax is very high if compared to Vietnam, to be honest with you. Now, do you know the history of your country well?
Yes, undoubtedly, because we study the history at school, and I can say that I can remember all the events pretty well. But I think history is manipulated, but it's
what?
controlled.
History
I think
is what?
history is manipulated.
It's manipulated.
Yeah, by the government. So I think they drive ourselves into the thinking, into the way of thinking that the government want their resident to think. So I think I learned the history that the government want me to learn well. So yeah, I think I do know it well.
Right. I see. So which products are typical of your country? Remember that history can be learned through many different channels. You don't have to learn through books. You can learn through reading things, listening to people, and seeing history in a different perspective,
Yes. Well, when it comes to products that are typical of my country, that would definitely be the conical hat. Because the people in my country, they love to show our culture to other to tourists from all around the world, and the conical hat is one of the most popular products that people use them as a gift as a gift when we go to some foreign country, and um, many superstars in the world, they love to wear a conical hat because it makes them feel like they are a ninja, or maybe, and so
That's
that
funny.
I think um, conical hat, or we can say nón lá, is a typical product of Vietnam.
We just call them non-la, you don't have to even. Okay, but basically non-la, you have to explain it is a conical or a cone-shaped hat.
Cone-shaped
I think a
hat.
cone shape có hình nón.
Well, I learned
It's a
it at
cone-shaped hat, I
school.
think. Let's check the word conical.
Yeah, well, I learned it at school, and it's just called conical hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A conical hat, really? Interesting. Shaped like a cone. Okay. If you want it that way, why not? But conical is an adjective of the word cone anyway, so it probably is the same thing. Now, a conical hat. Now, anything else special, typical of your country? That is the food, remember.
Besides that, that would
cuisine.
definitely be the phở, because the phở and bánh mì, because Vietnam is famous for its diverse street food and delicious cuisine, and one of the best thing that leave a long term what can I say, a long term cha rồi quên cụ mô tả. Well, that leave a long impression on tourists. That would definitely be phở and bánh mì because it's delicious, you know. And whenever someone asks about the cuisine, about Vietnamese cuisine, every Vietnamese would give them phở and bánh mì because they are so delicious and tasty,
Actually, I do
and
think
it
those are
match.
very, very high quality food, you know.
Yeah, well, because many people in the world they consider this food are wonders of the world cuisine. So it's delicious, and people, um, many people, they praise them as maybe the king of broth food, maybe, and the king of bread, maybe, and so that I think phở and bánh mì are some of the most popular feature of Vietnam in the world.
Okay, good. Right. Let's go on to part 2 and part 3 now. So 48. Let's try. We have some certain part 2 and then attached to part 3, but let's do 48 now. Describe a strange person you have met. Miêu tả một người lạ mặt bạn đã từng gặp. You should say who this person is, when did you meet him or her, how long you have known this person, and why is he or she strange. Tại sao người đó là lạ? It can be strange because of their appearance, the way they dress, because of their behaviors, could be because of their accent, you know, the way they talk, could be because of, you know, their height, có thể do là cái chiều cao của người đó bất thường nha, hoặc là something like that. Anything.
Strange person, vậy thì có thể nói là một người mình không quen đúng không ạ? Không quen vậy.
No, you should definitely focus on the fact that why he or she is strange, but you should not talk only about the people you don't know. You know, this is a different way. It's different from what you think. A strange person here should be someone who look or behave or sound strange, you know. Not just because you don't know them. Nó không phải liên quan đến chuyện mà mình không biết người đó đâu. Cái người mà nó là lạ, cái người nó là lạ, cái người cư xử là lạ, hoặc là cái người có ngoại hình lạ, hoặc là cái gì đó mà bạn đã từng gặp. Okay, so focus. Please describe a strange person you have met, please.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about a rapper that whose name is Andre Right Hand, and I first met him when I went to a bar last summer. And you know, when I met him, he was dancing with girls on the bar, and he always wear a dark glasses, and you know he's a rapper, so he's the host of the whole band, and it was quite strange to me that he has tattoos covering his appearance. So I was a bit scary at first.
Wait, I was a bit scary or scared. Cẩn thận, cái từ nào?
Yes, yeah.
I was a bit scared.
I was a bit scared at first, and because you know, in my environment, there are not so many people who have so many tattoos like that, and also I never met a rapper. I had never met a rapper before, and you know, many people they call him a bad boy, and so that he has because the fact that he had many girls around him, and on top of that, I think that his music set him apart from other rappers, and it's mostly about his squandering money on luxurious clothes and or buying expensive bags or cars, and it's quite strange in Vietnam because you know most rappers they rap about love, and they rap about the culture of Vietnam or something like that, because it's different from the U.S. culture, because they rap about street life, But when it comes to Vietnam, people they don't rap like the thing like that. So I think Andre Lloyd-Hand is a really string rapper in Vietnam right now, and also he's the first rapper I have ever met, and I think I have some respect for him. Hello?
Okay. Good enough for 48. Now, try something else. Well, there's a lot of part 2 around. Okay, let's try
How about the topic that I messaged you?
What topic?
Uh,
Okay,
the
I
topic.
added some bit extra things in there. Well,
Yeah,
I think
just try them.
yeah, I did. I think for the other class. Let's try okay, 3 topics about history then. Let's try 71, okay? Describe a historical building that you're interested in.
Historical building.
Một tòa nhà lịch sử mà bạn hứng thú. Where it is, why you are interested in it. What's the story is behind that building? Có câu chuyện gì đằng sau cái tòa nhà đó không? Do you often visit it? And explain what you feel about the building. Mình có cảm giác gì khi đi vào cái tòa nhà này không? Tòa nhà lịch sử. Alright. So we can try 71, 72, and then 73 as well, all about history. Now, okay, please describe a historical building that you are interested in.
Yes. Well, I want to share with you about the Independence Palace that is situated in Ho Chi Minh City, and I have visited it twice in my life when I had chances to visit the south of Vietnam, and it is where the government of Ngô Đình Diệm, also known as the clone of the USA government in Vietnam when it was during the Vietnam War, and it has a quite glorious history because in 1975 Vietnam finally gained independence, and also we saved the south of Vietnam from the USA, and after that
we debatable though.
Yeah, well,
very debatable.
Yeah, well, we can say that we take back the south of Vietnam from the USA, and after that we end the war. So on the 30th of April 1975, a glorious battle happened, and there are 2 tanks
that slam into the gate, right? Đâm vào cổng luôn á.
Slam into the gate, and the gate was broken, and then we arrest all the officials.
All the officials.
Yeah, officials in the building, and then after taking the control over the Independence Palace, the south of Vietnam is finally under control of the the government of Vietnam, and so that's the story I want to share with you, and it was quite glorious, and so that's the historical building that I fancy most.
Fancy, huh? Interesting way that you mentioned that. Okay, so try another one. So okay, let me move this one here. Okay, 72 is describe a historical figure or person that you're interested in. Miêu tả một cái người, một cái nhân vật lịch sử mà các bạn hứng thú. And you should say who the person is, what they did, why you are interested in that person, and why they are important in history. Tại sao cái người đó lại là quan trọng trong lịch sử? Be careful with this word. Historic là quan trọng về lịch sử nha. Còn historical nó chỉ có nghĩa là liên quan tới lịch sử thôi. Một cái nhấn mạnh độ quan trọng nha. One is more about importance, you know. Historic is importance in history. Why are they important in history? Tại sao cái người đó lại quan trọng về lịch sử? Explain how you feel about a person. Mình cảm thế nào về cái người đó?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, time to describe a historical figure or person that you are interested in, please.
Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about the great president Ho Chi Minh, the father of Vietnam. And you know, he is the founder of the government of Vietnam and one of the most brilliant leaders in the history of Vietnam. And you know, his story is that after previous leaders' failure to rescue Vietnamese people from the France, he decided to go to Western countries. And then he came across the Soviet Union. And at that time, he met the great Lenin, and he found a way to.
He found the communist leader, lãnh đạo mà cộng sản tên là Lenin. He found a communist leader who is Vladimir Lenin. It's actually the name is Vladimir Lenin.
Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Yeah.
Yes, Vladimir Lenin. He's a communist leader.
Communist leader. And it wasn't long before he found a way to rescue Vietnam from the hand of the French. And then after that, he came after spending 30 years in Western countries. He came back to Vietnam, gather all the talents throughout the country and the world. And among the talent he gathered, the great general Vong Nguyen Giáp is the cherry on top of the cake. You know, he's considered the best general in the world.
Yes,
right?
Even now many armies still studies Vong Nguyen Giap's and his tactics, you know.
Yes, and it's his talent that set him apart from other generals in the world. So I feel quite, inspired because how great is the President Ho Chi Minh that he can gather those talent throughout the country.
You have to be talented in order to gather talent yourself.
Yes.
Chính bản thân phải là talented mới có thể gather được.
I have so much respect for him, and I think and also his personality is set a good example for every Vietnamese people to see and to pursue. So I think he's the most interesting person in the history of Vietnam, and that's why he is called the Great Father of Vietnam, and we love him so much. Communist leader. Yeah.
Right. Very good. Very good. Now let's come to 73. Describe a historical event that you are interested in. Miêu tả một cái sự kiện lịch sử mà các bạn hứng thú. And you should say when and where the event happened. Cái sự kiện đó diễn ra lúc nào và nằm ở đâu. This is the hardest in all the three part 2 about history, okay? Cái này là cái chủ đề khó nhất về part 2 mà nói về lịch sử. Cái sự kiện diễn ra đâu và khi nào? Who were involved in the event? Ai đã tham gia vào cái sự kiện đó? What historical significance? Historical significance means like important. Significant means important, you know. Sự quan trọng về lịch sử của cái sự kiện này là sao? or the meaning of the event, cái ý nghĩa lịch sử của sự kiện này. Explain how you feel about that event. Mình cảm thế nào về cái event đó. Okay, and then you have part 3 about history as well to come with. Part 2 is just like a cherry in the cake, you know. But part 3 is like a lot more interesting. What are the best way or the best ways to learn about history? Có những cách nào tốt nhất để học lịch sử không? Like I told you, there are many ways to learn history, right?
Yeah.
Do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not? Cái chuyện viếng thăm bảo tàng để học về lịch sử có phải một ý tưởng tốt không?
Definitely.
Why should children and people learn about history? Tại sao trẻ em và con người ta nên học về lịch sử? What do you think about the teaching of history in the school system of your country? Bạn nghĩ gì về sự dạy lịch sử trong hệ thống trường học của đất nước bạn? Oh, it needs a lot of improvement, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, your time to think. Please describe a historical event that you are interested in now, please.
Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about the Independence Day of Vietnam in 1945, which is the first Independence Day in the history of Vietnam. You know, it marked the birth of the newly established Vietnamese government at that time, and it's still lasting right now. And you know, every official and people from all corners of Vietnam gather there, and the appearance of Uncle Ho, who is the great President Ho Chi Minh, is the cherry on top of the cake. He gave a speech about the independence of Vietnam, and he announced that Vietnam is born at that time, and he also talked about human rights, and it's quite impressive that all the participants cried and they honored the Uncle Ho, and so that I was really so what it was a memorable event in every mind of Vietnamese people, and you know it marks the birth of Vietnam, so it was quite an important event in Vietnam, and every year on the 2nd of September, everyone in the throughout the country have a day off to celebrate this day, and it's also interesting and also interesting and sad that you know Uncle Ho he also died on
exact same day, right?
And
September the
exactly
2nd.
the same day. Yes, December the 2nd in 1969, and that's really miserable, and so that this event is one of the most important celebration in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. All right, good. You chose the right one. So what is the best way or the best ways to learn about history?
Well, I think the best way is to learn through visiting museums, and also we can watch documentary. You know, it's quite interesting that normally we just learn about history at school, but I think learning through books and just pictures in the book is not enough for everyone to truly understand the history. So in order to have a broad view about the history, people they should seek for chances to visit museums where they can have the opportunity to touch and to see all the antiques, and also they can have a more particular vision vision about the history. They can learn about history through models, or they can learn through, the things that are displayed in the museum. And normally there would be some documentary this on display in the museum, so people would have would can widen their knowledge more about the past. And that's quite interesting because people, they can see, they can touch, and they can learn at the same time. So I think learning about history through visiting museum is the best way to learn.
Okay. Alright, good. I don't know why, but yesterday I dreamt about going back to school, and I was learning
Oh,
something. It's funny.
oh.
Do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not?
Yes, definitely. Visiting museum, when visit museum, we can have the chances to touch, to see the antiques, and we can also see models, and also we can hear the radio, or maybe we can watch some documentary about the things that are on display in the museums. And also we can have a more particular view about history. On top of that, we also know that museums are the place to store antiques that represent some event or some period of history. So if we visit museums, we can hear the guider talk about those things, and we can have a more broad view about the history at that time. And for that reason, I think visiting museums is the best way to learn about history.
Okay. How about talking to war veterans and maybe go to museums or maybe visit like old battles, viếng thăm những cái chỗ
Yeah.
mà trận chiến cũ.
Yes.
You can also talk to the local people, nói chuyện với những
Yeah.
người dân địa phương ấy.
But normally that must be the old people, because the young nowadays, they do not know, right?
Oh, well, they just heard stories from
Yeah.
their older generations. Yep. You're right. So, do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not?
You have just asked.
Oh, sorry. Why should children and people learn about history? What is the reason why people have to learn about history?
Well,
I don't know.
Everyone
I
have to
don't.
know about everyone have to know about their origin, and for that reason, learning about history is learning about the origin of ourselves, and so that we can know about the historic events that lead to their life nowadays. So they can honor the achievement of people in the past, and we can we can learn something about the past mistakes of the previous governments. And also we can learn about some um, tactics of fighting in the past, and that's quite interesting because there are many tactics that are still applicable now in these days. And for that reason, I think learning about history is learning about the origin and why the world right now is it. And so that I think children and people should definitely learn about history.
What do you think about the teaching of history in the school system in your country? Of your country, sorry.
Wow. This
Wow
is
or
an
well?
interesting. Wow. This is an interesting question for me.
Interesting. It's an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, to me, in my perspective, I think the education system in Vietnam nowadays it needs many improvements. One of them is about the teaching of history, because nowadays Vietnamese students, they just learn about history through books and through videos maybe, and so that and teachers, they normally force the student to uh, to memory all the numbers, the dates of event, and memory all the text in the
Memorize.
books.
It's a verb to memorize, and memorize all the text.
Yeah, memorize all the text in the book. So that's quite challenging for everyone, So I think instead of that, we should teach them to how to learn in an instinct way, so that those events, they can carve into students' mind without any challenge. So I think the teaching of history in school system nowadays so need many improvements in order to be more modern, and also to be more interesting and so that they interesting more interesting, so that they can inspire the young generation to find out more about the past history.
Okay. Now, so let's move on to something else now, I think. Try 74. Describe a time when you moved to a new home or school. Miêu tả một cái thời điểm mà bạn chuyển tới một cái trường mới hoặc một cái nhà mới. Of course, when you move home, you often have to move schools when you were a baby,
Yeah.
When you were a child, when you move out, you need to move to a new school too sometimes. You should say when you moved, where you moved, why you moved, and how you felt about it. And then you have part 3 here. Why do people move to a new home? Tại sao con người ta lại cứ chuyển đến một cái nhà mới, cái chỗ mới? What problems will people face after moving to a new place? And how do people solve these problems? Có những vấn đề nào người ta sẽ phải đối mặt không? Ở một nơi mới không? Và con người ta giải quyết làm sao? What are the advantages and disadvantages of living in the same place? Sống cùng một cái nơi hoài luôn á, không đổi. Nó có ích lợi và bất lợi gì không? Try to think wide and far about that. It's hard to change your perspective if you don't change sometimes,
Yes.
Once in a while, mình nó đổi cái perspective, cái cách nhìn nhận cuộc sống của mình. Well, is it good to move to a new place frequently? Cứ di chuyển một nơi mới mà thường xuyên có phải là một điều tốt không? 3 lần dọn nhà bằng lần cháy nhà. Well, there's a saying in Vietnamese, they say after 3 times moving into a new place, it's like equal to 1 time that your house got on fire, which is a really bad thing. What does it mean? It means you keep losing items, you losing the things that you used to own. Mỗi lần di chuyển là mất đồ á. Kiểu gì cũng sẽ mất thôi. Không ít thì nhiều à. Nó không biết tại sao đó. Hoặc là mình phải mua đồ mới. When you move to a new place, very often, you have to buy new things, and that is extra cost, Nó tốn thêm tiền.
Yes.
Or you have to try to find a way to get rid of old stuff, old things, And also you have to think about the cost of hiring the team to help you moving out, Thuê đội để mà giúp mình dọn, nếu mà không mà cực lắm luôn á. If you are moving out by yourself, it's really, really hectic. You really don't want that, do you?
Yes.
Okay, think about this one.
Move to a new school, right?
Or home.
Because I have.
Cái bài này là nó di chuyển đến một cái home mới hoặc một cái school mới. Thường là di chuyển nhà là sẽ chuyển school luôn.
Yeah, so...
Moment. Keep thinking. Please describe a time when you moved to a new home or school.
Yeah, well... It was 2 years ago when I moved from secondary school to high school, and interestingly, it is just 500 meters longer than before, so that's quite convenient for me. And at that time, I was so excited to join a whole new environment, and
And then a
moving,
whole new world.
yeah,
It's like that.
and you know, uh, studying in a whole new world, meeting new friends, new teachers, and also I met new facilities that I haven't seen before, and that's quite
Interesting.
and interesting, and I was separated from
Separated from.
I was separated from my previous friend, so I was arranged in the top class of this new school, and I met many new great students. You know, having a good environment of competition is the cherry on top of on top of the cake,
Mm-hmm.
and for that reason, uh, a sense of competition is the driving force behind my effort to learn well at school. So it's quite challenging, but also fun. Also bring me a lot of fun. And you know, moving to a new home. No, moving to a new. It's like moving to a new home. I have to change my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and also I have to um, make new friends, and also I have to get some yeah,
Get
and
some
some
what?
allies.
Allies? You mean like getting to
Yeah,
know your neighbors, getting to know your
yeah.
friends and people around you or something?
Yes, I have to have some allies, and that brings me chances to socialize with new people, and so that I can become more mature. And that's why I felt really, respect, and I love the time when I first moved to my high school.
Okay. Right. So why do people move to a new home then? It's probably not for fun.
Yeah, well, I think it's just because they have changed their workplace, and for that reason, they have to find a new home that is near their workplace, so that the commute way is it can be convenient, and so or maybe they just find somewhere to live, so um, commuting time is mitigated. So I think that's the main reason, but there are many reasons like the neighbors they're so unfriendly maybe, and also maybe it is due to some religious or superstitious reason that people have to change home, because many people they consider their home is haunted by a ghost,
Mm-hmm.
so that's not good. That's not so it is a superstitious reason that they have to change home in order to
Mm-hmm.
alter their luck. So yes, and that's why I think that's the reason why people move home.
Alright, so what problems will people face after moving to a new place? And how do they solve those problems?
Well, in my opinion, I think the no. Well, in my opinion, moving to a new place means that we change environment, so we have to adapt to it, to adapt to the new working time, or we have to socialize and make new friends, so that we can have new alliance, and we can depend on them, to call on them, to count on them when there's problems happening. And we have to familiarize that the new living place. So it's quite challenging and it would take time.
Mm-hmm.
So especially when it comes to legal papers, that would really time
Okay.
consuming. And those are the problems I think people have
Okay.
to
Okay,
face.
good enough. Thanks, Sue. Moment, please. Okay,
Yes.
back to it. So, did you say what problems people will face after moving to new place and how do people solve those problems?
Well, in my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
they will have to face the challenge to, adapt to the new environment. They have to, make new friends. They have to legalize their papers, and also they would have to, make some familiarize new environment, like they have to navigate the shops nearby, and they have to also have to know
Navigate?
where.
Strange word.
Yeah, well, they have to know where to go on some purpose. For example, the hospital maybe, or the supermarket, or some services nearby, so they can know the new place map, and so that they can adapt more easier. And so those are the problems I can think about.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages of living in the same place?
Well, I think when it comes to advantages, I think it might be that living in the same place for a long time, they can become, like somebody they consider the father of those land, and so that they can have many alliance there. So no one want to have problems with them, and also they because they know their place really well, so they can depend on it. They know everywhere they should go, so they they have relationships with all the shop owners and services there. So maybe when it comes to any reasons, they can have better services because they have known each other. So neighbors should help each other. Yeah. So that's that's why I think living in the same place can bring a lot of advantages. And in terms of disadvantages,
Mm-hmm.
I think that it might cause boredom because living in the same place for a long time, nothing changed much,
Mm-hmm.
and so that there's no challenge to face there, and so that might cause us some boredom, and also living in the same place for a long time and nothing happened, nothing changed, that can cause some
Mm-hmm.
conservative people,
Mm-hmm.
and they just know about themselves, and they do not care about other people's life, and also they cannot adapt to new technologies often, because the world always change, and the technology is developing really quick, and so that those people living in the same place for a long time, I think they would not have the chance to see the new technology, and they would not have the opportunity to try them, so that they would not have the um, they would not adapt new information and widen their knowledge about the world.
Okay. All right. So, is it good to move to a new place frequently, like once every 3 months or something?
Well, no. Definitely, because we all know that moving to a new place costs so much. For example, we have to hire some people to help us move our appliance in our house. So also we have to, leave leave back some unnecessary furniture so that it's easier to carry to the new place. And for that reason, I think every time when we move to a new place, we would lose something,
Would
lose
lose
something,
something actually.
lose something.
Lose something.
We would lose something, and also we would lose a huge amount of money in order to buy a new house and to
Wait, moving to a new place
or
doesn't mean you have to buy a new house. You can just
yeah,
rent one,
or we
right?
have just rent. It just take us some money to rent, and it would really time consuming to find a new place. And so that I think moving to a new place frequently is not a good idea. It's has many disadvantages. So
There are
people
many
should
disadvantages
there are many disadvantages. So
to
people
moving
should
out of the country.
consider carefully every time they want to move to a new environment.
Okay, good. Right,
Oh,
so let's try another one.
oh,
75. Describe a difficult thing you did. Miêu tả một cái điều mà khó chịu, khó khăn lắm mà các bạn đã từng làm. You should say what it was, how you did or completed it, why it was difficult, and how you felt about doing it. Một cái điều rất là khó mà mình đã từng làm. And then part 3, what kind of jobs require people to be confident? Loại công việc nào yêu cầu con người ta phải rất là tự tin? You know, like what job require confidence? It means like you may need to face a lot of people. You may have to do things on your own initiative. Mình phải làm mọi thứ giống như là mình phải chủ động mọi thứ đó. On your own initiative. Mình phải tự động, mình không phải chờ người giao việc mới làm. It's like on your own initiative. Like for example, if for a CEO or boss, you have to, give people jobs and then force people to do things. That's on your own initiative, though.
Yeah.
Cái đó là bắt buộc phải có cái sự mà tự tin mới làm nổi nha. Because you have to be the one who take charge. You have to be the one who take charge of the situation. To take care of the situation yourself. Okay. On what occasion should children be encouraged and how? Vào những cái dịp nào mà trẻ em nên được khuyến khích, tại sao? How do you help children stay focused? Làm thế nào giúp cho trẻ nhỏ có thể cứ tập trung học hoặc là tập trung làm gì đó? You know, focus is very important if you want to succeed, yeah? You want to succeed. Without focus, we cannot focus on our study, we cannot focus on our work. How can we achieve success, right? Cái sự tập trung nó quan trọng lắm luôn á. So if you are on TikTok all day or any kind of social media like that, it actually destroy your focus. Nó tiêu hủy cái sự tập trung của mình nha. Rất nguy hiểm luôn á. It's very dangerous. That's why people when they come to class they're like, oh, we are so bored and so sleepy and something like that, you know.
Yes.
Cho nên thầy mới nói là mấy cái mạng xã hội, đặc biệt là TikTok, nó rất nguy hiểm nha. It's actually very, very dangerous because it can destroy your life.
Yes, nghe lén rất nhiều.
Say again.
Nó nghe lén khá nhiều nữa. Kiểu nó quét giọng nói của mình, xong nó đưa ra những cái feed phù hợp luôn. Có lần em ngồi mấy con
là cho con người ta nghiện một cái gì đó và giống như làm chủ cuộc đời người ta luôn á. It's like owning your life.
Oh no, đẳng cấp tới nỗi mà con bạn em nói K-pop mà bình thường em không bao giờ em xem K-pop, xong tự dưng nó hiện feed
Bộc phát
K-pop
luôn
lên,
luôn
đúng
rồi
rồi,
xong.
xong nó hiện nhiều vãi.
Very dangerous, I told you.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you help children stay focused and what challenges do young people face today? This is a big question. Những người trẻ ngày nay phải đối mặt với những cái thách thức nào? Think about social media. Nhiều khi sướng quá cũng là một thách thức nha. If you are in a very comfortable environment, you don't really want to achieve more. You don't really want to try better, try harder. That is also a kind of challenge. To overcome your own comfort zone. To overcome your own comfort, vượt qua được cái sự mà thoải mái của riêng bản thân, đó là một cái challenge, gọi là vượt sướng á. To step out of your comfort zone, đi ra khỏi cái vùng an toàn. Well, back then people were living in a poor situation, or they lack a lot of things to support their life, so they have to try so hard. But it's because of situation that forces them to try harder to have a better life, But now, look at children. They have everything. It's very difficult to think of a reason why they have to try harder, right? So that's why teachers and people have to force children to keep on learning, keep on forcing them, because they themselves wouldn't force themselves, right? Chính bản thân trẻ nhỏ nó sẽ không có tự force bản thân chúng, tại vì nó làm gì có cái động lực nữa đâu. Sướng quá rồi. Cho nên vượt sướng là rất khó nha. Actually, to get out of your comfort zone, to overcome your own comfort is actually harder than overcoming your difficulty. I do believe so. Now, what else? What challenges? Well, you have a lot of internet scams and frauds, lừa đảo trên mạng, and then có nhiều cái vấn đề kinh khủng lắm, ví dụ ấu dâm chẳng hạn. There are weird people who committed these are pedophiles, pedophiles, những kẻ ấu dâm.
Oh man.
Pedo means like children, phile, philus mean to love, but it doesn't mean love children, nó không có nghĩa là người yêu trẻ đâu. Pedophiles is a crime, is basically a criminal who want to abuse children, criminals who want to sexually abuse children, những cái tên tội phạm mà muốn lạm dụng tình dục trẻ nhỏ, pedophiles, Okay, and there are problems of challenges. For example, it's harder to find job these days, Khó kiếm việc làm bây giờ hơn nhiều ngày xưa luôn á, hơn ngày xưa nhiều luôn á.
Oh, yes.
But there are also more jobs too, so they have to constantly have to compete with AI, Chúng ta phải liên tục mà đối chọi với lại mấy con AI, mấy con trí thông minh nhân tạo bây giờ. Think about new challenges like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, robots will take over your job for you, and you will be unemployed,
How?
Very, very bad. Đó là một cái challenge rất là lớn luôn á, mà con người ta phải đối diện bây giờ, đó là robot sẽ lấy việc của các bạn đấy, tại vì nó rẻ hơn, nhanh hơn, xuất sắc hơn các bạn.
Em không hiểu sao nhá. Tức là nếu mà nhìn ở tầm nhìn vĩ mô thì thấy là mấy cái AI, những cái robot nó đang thay thế con người rất nhiều. Mà cái lao động thì lại ngày càng tăng. Vậy thì chẳng phải là sẽ có cực kỳ nhiều người unemployed hay sao?
Chính xác. Very good logic. So there will be a lot more unemployed people on the street, and that will lead to increase in crime rate, An increase, danh từ, an increase in crime rate, gia tăng tỷ lệ tội phạm nha. Tại vì thất nghiệp mà. If they are unemployed, they are willing to do a lot of bad things.
Yes, but mọi người thì lại cũng nói là tương lai có càng ngày càng nhiều cơ hội để phát triển, để
You
tìm
think there
việc
are
làm
more
các thứ.
opportunities for improvement, but that is only for people who try harder.
Hmm.
Nó chỉ là cơ hội cho những người nào mà cố gắng thôi, chứ những người lười là coi như là chết chắc.
Yes.
If people are lazy, you are so dead. Okay, so think about
Um,
this one now. Alright, please describe a difficult thing you did.
yeah. I'm going to talk about the time when I first achieved the band 9 rating in the IELTS test.
Oh
And
wow!
yeah, this morning, it's quite challenging. And in the IELTS reading test, I have to complete 40 questions of reading, and I am just allowed to make one mistake in order to achieve the band 9, which is the maximum band score.
Okay.
And understanding all the text is really challenging for me, and also it's quite challenging into when it comes to finding the appropriate information so that I can do the test well. But this morning I finished the test and I still got 10 more minutes, but I finished it and I checked the answer, and oh, surprisingly, I just make one mistake, and that surprised me so much and I was cheered, and I just
I was what? I was
showed
what? Say again. I was G.
I cheered up. Yeah,
I was smiling, right?
yeah, I was smiling. I cheered up with my mother, and I also texted with my friends
Text
to
to hay là text
flex.
my friend? Cẩn thận. Text my friend.
Yeah, I text my friend to flex.
Text my friend
to flex.
Đó là một cái từ lóng. That's a slang you should not use in IELTS. I text my friend to boast, để mà khoe khoang.
To boast.
To boast. To boast. Khoe khoang. But you can use to flaunt as well.
Yeah,
flaunt. To flaunt. Flaunt. To flaunt. Giống như khoe của là to flaunt my wealth vậy đó. To khoe của. Flaunt my wealth. Well, that's very typical Leo of you.
Yeah, well, so after that, I have more motivation to try harder to achieve many more band 9 reading, but I do know that it's really quite challenging, and I have no idea whether this achievement is luck or is due to my luck or not. And on top of that, it gives me more energy so that I can believe in the future. In the real test, I can do well because achieving the band 9 is really hard for me, and so that this achievement, the first time achieved band 9, it helped me to mitigate my stress and pressure. Because lately I did really bad in reading, so I was on edge, and I was clueless about what to do in order to improve my performance. But this achievement have given me energy and more motivation and more hope to believe in a brighter future. So this is an interesting thing and really interesting thing and a difficult thing that I have just done.
You have just done? Okay, so what kinds of jobs require people to be confident then?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I think the jobs like CEO of the business, or maybe the sales staff, or the marketing staff. They are the people who have to work with people. So work with humans, so they have to be confident in order to perform well in front of the customer or in front of in front of our đối tác là gì ra?
Partner.
In front of, in front of our
Partners.
work partners. So
work partners.
So those are the jobs that require to be people to be confident, along with many other jobs like teacher or the MC, the event monitor, and also the job
master of ceremony.
Oh, master of ceremony. I haven't known that.
Master of ceremonies, MC, yeah. Okay, think about other jobs such as, người của công chúng, public figure, any kind of public figure people, they must have good confidence,
Yes.
Singers, actors, actresses, or even, of course, teachers must have confidence, otherwise people will not listen to them, right?
Yes.
Tất kỳ cái nghề nào mà bắt buộc người ta phải nói chuyện, xuất hiện cái mặt của mình á với người khác. Any kind of jobs that require you to talk to people, show your face. Salesman, saleswoman as well. Nghề sales cũng cần confident lắm luôn á, mấy mặt dày mà đi sale được.
Yes.
Well, sales. Okay. And reporter, phóng viên, reporter. Sellers, bất kỳ cái dạng sale nào. I think confidence is just like everywhere. Nhưng mà người không có confident thì nên chọn nghề nào mà ít phải gặp gỡ con người. Normally, if people are not confident enough, they have to find job that doesn't require them to meet people. For example, IT. Alright, so on what occasion should children be encouraged and how?
Encouraged? Well, I think normally just the time when they feel they are under pressure. For example, they are preparing for some examination or prepare for some tests that they have to study a lot. They have to learn a lot to review the knowledges. So I think at those times, on those occasions, they are under pressure. So in many cases, they give up. So I think those are the time when they should be encouraged by their parents or their teachers, so they can have the courage and have more motivation to do well, to perform well when the real test is taking place. And also, on top of that, I think whenever children they are worried about something, or they are just normally under pressure about something, about some decision they have to make. I think those are the time when they need the courage and they need the dedication. Also, they need the motivation in order to make decisions. So this requires a lot of courage, and for that reason, I think you should be encouraged so much.
Okay, so how do you help children stay focused then?
Well, normally in my experience, I just throw away the smartphone.
That's a bit too drastic, don't you think?
Yeah.
Hơi bị triệt để, hơi bị it's a bit rude, don't you think? And a bit too much, don't you think?
Yes. Normally I just ask them to do their work under my watch, and normally I would reward them about for example, if they finish their homework, I would reward them 1 or 2 hours playing video game, and also they can have the chance to, for example, go out and play or to watch TV, and those are the rewards that I think they can motivate the children to work harder, and those rewards they can be a driving force behind the children's effort to get them. And so that I think those driving force help them to stay focused and finish the task as soon as possible.
Now, what challenges do young people face today?
Wow, to the best of my knowledge, I think there are many challenges facing. There are many challenges facing young people nowadays. For example, people they have to, young children they have to overcome their own comfort, because in these modern days, it is so convenient to live, and many children they live in comfort and love. They do not. Yes, and they do not know about the difficulties that many other people face when they go out, or when they live independently. So to overcome their own comfort and seek new challenges in life,
seek new challenges in life
require a lot of courage and dedication, and so that it's quite challenging for them, and also and so that it means they have to step out of their comfort zone, and on top of that, I think there are many dangers for young people nowadays. For example, the pedophiles. They are criminals who want to sexually abuse friends.
Wow,
Mình báo đấy. Criminal who wants to sexually abuse children, and that's quite ghostly. It can leave a long-lasting impression on the young generation, and they can suffer from depression, and that's terrible. And also, there are, in these days of technology, and many young people, they suffer from cyberbullying. They are threatened through the internet, and also there are many hackers. They hack into their account, publish their hot or their confidential information.
Confidential is not meant to be shared, because those information are private information, or it can be dangerous if being shared, so that's what they call confidential,
Yeah.
So good. Okay.
So, and that's quite insecure for the young generation. Also, we all know that there's a generation gap when we talk to our parents or our grandparents. They cannot understand our way of thinking well, so there would be some problem when we discuss about something with them, about some topic with them. So I think those are the challenges that face young generation nowadays.
Good enough. Okay, that's all for today then. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh á, để mà các bạn sẽ được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.